Welcome back to the Notary Podcast hosted by me, Daniel C. Lewis. And you're not going to want to miss this one. I have a very special guest for you today. You're not going to want to miss this one. Cue the music. Welcome back to the Notary Podcast hosted by me, Daniel C. Lewis. And if you like this podcast, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. This week, we have a very special guest, Kristen Weiss. Is I pronouncing that right? No, I'm not. I didn't.
You did.
I did?
Kristen Weiss. Yeah.
Weiss. Oh, Kristen Weiss. San Diego notary. A lot of people have heard her name, and she's building quite a reputation in the notary industry all across the country. Welcome to the Notary Podcast, Kristen.
Thank you, Daniel. Thanks for having me. I've seen previous podcasts, and who knew I'd be here next with
I did.
Daniel. He's very persuasive, hunting me down since, earlier this year for the NNA conference. But it's amazing. I love seeing all my colleagues on here. Many of them are my mentors. It's pretty awesome. So thank you for having me here. I appreciate the opportunity to share my story and my business.
Yeah, and as you know, I always try to get the most successful notaries in the country. And it took me a while to get you on this podcast, but I'm so happy that you're on this podcast because you're one of the most successful notaries I've come across like you said, going to conferences and that type of thing. But for our listeners, meeting you for the first time, tell us who you are in like a minute or so.
Oh boy, in just a minute. Wow. Well, I have been a notary for almost 23 years. And I've went full-time 5 years ago. I live in beautiful San Diego. I'm been married for 19 years. I have a teenage daughter named Sage, who is an amazing athlete. I have 2 dogs and a tortoise, and I'm loving San Diego living. I can't really complain over here, Daniel.
You said you have a tortoise?
I do. A pet tortoise. He roams the yard. His name's Lucky. And he's sort of the pet for our vacation rental in the back. We have a little Zen den, 1 bedroom, 1 bath, about 3 blocks from the bay we are. But yeah, he's pretty cool.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. So you have a very full life. Like a lot of notaries have a lot of full family life, and they have that time trying to balance family and tortoises and pets and stuff.
Well, one child much easier. Many notaries I see have 3, 4, and 5. I don't know how they juggle it, but she's pretty self-sufficient as a teenager now. So.
Oh, very good, very good. Well, what originally drew you to the notary industry and loan signings?
Well, my story is pretty unique and interesting. I, like I mentioned, have been a notary for 23 years. I got commissioned back in 2002. And at the time, I was working in the mortgage lending space. So I had been in the real estate space as a loan officer for several years. And then I worked on the wholesale side as a wholesale rep. And then I also carried a real estate license. And so during that time frame, I had gotten commission. You know, I don't really remember what drove me to get commission back then. I think it was just having my feet in the real estate. And a friend and I said, oh, let's just get commission. Just kind of had it on the side for a long time, and then slowly was doing work sort of as a side hustle. And I had an incredible opportunity that the universe gave me, which is still totally mind blowing to me today, where I was able to launch my business full time. Really unintentionally. I was also in the wealth management space for over 20 years as executive assistant support. Was laid off COVID year of November 2020, and a fellow mom who our kids play sports with said, hey, Kristen, I know you're a loan officer, and I know you were a loan officer, and I know you're a commissioned notary, so you need to come help me because I am drowning, because she has a signing service. And so she said, come help me. And my husband says, what do you got to lose? And I said, well, W-2'd my entire life, never ever envisioned to be a solopreneur. Never really thought I had it in me. Never thought I was brave enough, smart enough, all the self chatter that you tell yourself. And working in the real estate and wealth management space, it's very male dominated. So I had, challenging time with managing partners and, maybe not being so kind to me. So anyhow, I had this opportunity and I was like, okay, why not? Like, I don't really feel aligned to be looking for full-time work at this time. And she gave me 48 loan closings in December of 2020. And something in me, without even realizing I was already doing it, I think at this time I also found Notary Coach and the Notary Business Builder and found some resources online. And I just slowly was signing up with 5 signing services a week. And I got up to over 300 plus signing services. And this was in 2021. Started to build direct business with title and escrow at the time. And so about 4 or 5 months in and about 600 loan closings later, my husband came over to me in this exact chair and said, honey, why don't you just do this full time? And I said, pardon my French, shit, I never thought of that. So I was already in it before I knew I was in it. So it's pretty amazing. And I feel so blessed that the universe gave me all of that crazy business that I didn't have to market at all. Like it was just, everyone knows it was just flooded because everybody was refinancing off these 2.25% rates. But then I had to pivot, right? And I used my notary community with all the resources and education and training. I did probably 7 to 10 hours of training a week consistently, went to 4 networking events a week consistently for 3 years.
Wow.
Mostly in the real estate space at that time. And I built my own business, but I had to pivot after that year. I lost 85% of that business after my first year. So I started pivoting and going to other networking groups with estate planning attorneys, financial advisors, and that sort of thing. So also got trained in apostille work and adding translation. So the last 2 years, I put my time and energy into the home care space, partnering with assisted living communities, hospitals, and that sort of thing, as well as estate planning attorneys, building my apostille services and building out the translation. So I've gotten to a point now where I have so many eggs in my basket, where I have so much variety of business that if one slows down, I'm not affected because I have all the other business. So if I had one good piece of advice to give to newer notaries, it's very, very important to diversify your business so that you can stay continuously busy. And it's very important to continue to network because things can fall out. Those relationships that I built and with the title and escrow officers, guess what? After that first year, half of them got laid off, half of them closed down. I lost all of that business I nurtured for 2 to 3 years, but it didn't really affect me entirely because I had my hands in all these other services. So I've stayed very busy and very consistent at getting in front of people and, continuing to build those relationships.
You are a great example of what, if I was building a successful notary entrepreneur, you would be a great example because you have experience in loan signings, putting together an application. You know how to do that. You know what it takes to do that. Plus wealth management, financial services, financial products. That is the perfect notary.
It's interesting because I studied aquatic biology. I have a BS in aquatic biology from UC Santa Barbara. I used to do research diving and that sort of thing, but I didn't pursue that. I suffered severe migraines in college, so the lab work and the chemicals, it didn't work for me, and I didn't really know what my love was. For the longest time, I thought, God, what is my why? What is my why? I never knew what it was, and then this sort of organically landed in my lap. And I look back and I've written a blog about your why that people can go see, one of my earlier blogs. And I realized, wow, all this experience being in the real estate space,
Yes.
being and executive support space allowed me to create my own business. And I never, ever imagined to be an entrepreneur. I never thought I could do it. And having all of that as a platform and also holding my last role at the wealth management company, I wore a lot of hats. So besides just managing them, I started assisting operations team, helping with IT, and all of that really was a great platform for me to launch a business that I never even imagined doing. It was really very unintentional.
Wow, so impressive, so
Very
impressive.
cool.
And
Yeah.
I know you're down in San Diego. What's unique about doing closings and notary assignments in San Diego?
I am very central, which is wonderful. Like anything's really 20 minutes from me. I get people asking me all the time, God, you must drive hundreds of miles every day. And I hate to give away my secret, but I actually probably on a day-to-day basis only drive about 20 to 30 miles. Like all my business is very close. Maybe once or twice a week, I'll drive 100 because I'm going up to North County and then south. But I have the border that's very close, so that gives opportunity for apostille services. Tons of military bases here to help military families. I have probably two military communities right here in Pacific Beach that I've helped. And what else? I actually help a lot of people traveling here on business. I do a lot of seller closings, refis, or purchases for individuals. Maybe they've called me directly and they've connected me to the title and escrow that's whatever in Florida, or I have a title or escrow company finding me through my Google business profile and they need me to assist. So I do a lot of closings for people that are traveling here. I meet them at hotels all over San Diego County. So there's a lot of opportunity here, but you also have to put the time and effort and stay
Yeah,
consistent to build the business. It's really, really what I want to tell people. It's not a walk in the park. Just like
yeah,
if you were to create a business in any other space outside of a notary, maybe becoming a realtor or a financial planner, you can do that training, but there's so much more to that training.
yeah.
It's putting that time and effort in and putting yourself out there and really stepping out of your discomfort. I've done it over and over again, and even doing this podcast at this point it's not so uncomfortable, but ask me 2 3 years ago, I've never done public speaking. I didn't grow up in school doing that like my daughter's doing, which I think is amazing because I think they need to get comfortable and
Yeah.
be able to share and express themselves in front of people. I didn't have that, but what I did is I did that when I did the real estate stuff. I was pitching my services for 30 seconds 3 days a week and getting in front of 60 to 100 people on a microphone, and I would get up there and I'd be like, my name's Kristen, right? I would practice before I'd go. I'd practice in the mirror in the car to the point where I woke up one day like, oh, what do I want to talk about? Okay, I'm Kristen. So it's just doing it, guys. You just have to do it. It can be, you could be scared to death, but it's just if you don't step out of your comfort zone, you will not grow and you need to grow. So if you want to become that successful notary, you need to think of all the things that you can do to those opportunities that will allow you to just grow personally and professionally.
And you mentioned something about consistency. What's your first three steps to being getting consistent business?
Oh, well, like I had mentioned, never thought to do this full time. It was a very unintentional process for me, but I think uh, just having a plan of first of all, figuring out what do you want to do first. I think we have so many options out there, whether it be general notary work, loan closings, apostille, wedding officiant, permit running, live scan, fingerprinting, and you're like, I want to do them all. Like they all sound amazing, but it doesn't work that way. You really need to put your time and energy into one thing. And what I did is I did that in the real estate stuff because my background was a loan officer. I knew the loan documents, so it was just getting that process down. So I started with that first, and then I knew I would need a pivot because of the market and because of the amazing notary community and the mentors that I have, whether it be Notary Coach with Bill Soroka, Jen Neitzel with Marketing for Notaries, Judy Lawrence for Apostille. They, kind of gave me some enlightenment of like, look, you guys need to learn all these other avenues. So then I would shift, and I went from doing that to the estate planning, building that out, going to networking events, about a year and a half consistently doing estate planning. And then I started getting more into the apostille stuff's been growing over the 3 years, and then doing the home care space. So having opportunity to go once a month, twice a month to different home care networking groups. One is free, one is a minimal cost, and it's given me opportunities to speak at these different meetings,
Yep.
have a tabletop at vendor fairs, and this is all complimentary. It's not
Yeah.
costing for this type of stuff. So it's consistency, thinking about what you want to do first, focusing on that for maybe a year and a half, and then start building out the other services that you want to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, how do you handle like slow weeks, prospecting plans or outreaching and stuff? How do you handle your slow weeks?
Well, that's a great question. So I used to stress out when I was slow. I'd say to my husband, oh my gosh, my phone's not ringing. What am I going to do? And I think it is scary at that time. But I now, being almost 5 years in, I love it. I take advantage of that slow time. This week was pretty quiet for me. Usually, the beginning of the year, beginning of the month is slower, but I've had a few months where I've been completely slammed at the beginning of the month. So I love that time where I can build out my website. I can work on my Google business profile updates, do my social media posting, all the things I do not have time for when I'm out in the field. And we all know we wear 1,000 hats, and it's trying to create that time management to handle all that stuff, making time to reach out to some LinkedIn prospects, sending emails, making some phone calls, maybe sending some thank you letters from people that I met with networking. Hey, I enjoyed our coffee the other day. So there's never a dull moment, Daniel. We know this. We are
Yeah.
there's always something to do. I have a running task list that goes on and on and on. So I try to categorize it with one being the most important, two and three. And I try to hit those when I'm slower in the field.
I also see that you have over 500 plus 5-star reviews on your Google business page. How do you manage that? How do you get there?
Daniel, it's a running theme, consistency, consistency, consistency. So yeah, I've again taken all the training that I can learn when I launched my business with the communities that I've spoken about, taken, the Google business profile training with Jim Allen, and have come up with my own process of, from the very start, of how you pick up that phone with that incoming call with your right tone and professionalism and transparency and showing some of your personality, to touching that client as many times as you can, from the first time of calling them, texting them with the confirmation,
Yeah.
following up. Hey, I'm going to see you this afternoon. Hey, here's my ETA. So you've touched the client multiple times. They may have called you and said, hey, I have a question about this. And I might direct them to call the title company, making sure their ID matches the signature line. So you're building rapport from the very second you are taking that phone call. So by the time you meet with them and you're in person, and maybe you find something in their home that sticks out, and
Yeah.
you have your topics that you talk about, whether it be, for me, it's pets, kids, and sports. Those three are just perfect topics. And you connect with the client. And if you can connect with the client, that is absolutely key. Because I'll tell you, there's days where I've been in a bit of a rush and I may not nurture that connection as much. I won't get a review. I know for a fact, if you can connect with the client and then with follow up, hey, you follow, say at the end of the appointment, hey, I would be so grateful if you could share your notary experience. I'd really appreciate it. And then follow up on email, text with the link, and just, again, being consistent with your process so that you can empower your notary journey with these 5-star reviews, because the reviews are everything. People will find you online and they will say, oh my gosh, Kristen. I said, oh, how'd you find me? I always ask, hey, were you referred to me? Oh no, I found you on Google. I can't even believe your reviews. Like what people are saying, I didn't go any further. And they will go down. I may not be always in the top 3 or 4 pack. They might go down 4 or 5 or 6, and they will see the number of reviews. So notaries out there, stay consistent, keep asking, have a process. I have shared my process with the Michigan Notary Bootcamp last year, how to attain, and my process of attaining 5-star reviews, which actually have over 850, because I use 4 different.
Wow.
Having multiple platforms is key too, but it's a possibility that I submit this presentation for conference next year. So we will see.
Wow, that is very impressive. What do you think is the biggest error new notaries make when they're starting their business?
Oh. Well, I think one of 2 errors that notaries make is, first of all, you have to know your notary law. You need to know your handbook inside and out. It's crucial. Making sure you're part of the NNA as a member for the hotline. I lived off of that hotline. I can't tell you how many times, Daniel, even with all that experience I had, look, when you're doing all those loan closings and the notarial language is so different for every different state, it takes a lot of practice to learn what you can and can't accept. So I think notary's mistake is not signing up as a member, not knowing, their handbook. That's crucial. And secondary, my second thing that I think NSAs overlook or do is taking the time, because you have a lot of notaries that have, they have mobile offices, which is great. I have a mobile office where they can print, scan, so forth. But I think if you can make that time and have a process, which I do, I print documents the night before because I don't want my printer not working the next day. Occasionally I would have to print on the road because I get a signing within the hour, but I make it a practice. I review them, I look at them, I make sure the names are good, there's no name discrepancies, the trust language is right, nothing's dated like they want you to, like it's dated after the date of of notarizing, all these different things. So if you take the time and prepare, then you're not printing and driving to the appointment, and then there's a mistake. And then guess what? You look like the hero, because title and escrow goes, oh my God, I can't believe you caught that. You're not even in the field yet. You didn't print. So you're saving the money. You look like a superstar. So those are the 2 things that I highly recommend, is really paying attention to the documentation and putting and being a member of the NNA, having access to that hotline. And also another mistake is not finding a mentor. Find somebody that you can connect with, that can give you guidance, that can help you with along your path of learning and becoming the best notary that you can be.
Yeah, great. How do you approach? And I ask this question sometimes: data security, signage, privacy, and what's your shredding protocol?
Let's see. So for data stuff, I for one thing, which is a little bit of my pet peeve, but for data, obviously you don't want the client's information shared. A lot of signing services or title escrow companies in that space have secure portals, secured emails. I find some out of state, small title, mom and pop escrow places, they do not. They do not have a secure portal. And they want scan backs. And I say, hey, can you give me a secure email to attach it? Oh, well, we don't have that. I said, well, this is the client's private information. So I will be able to, through Adobe, do password protect. So because that's really important.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
want the client's information just sent through email. So it's kind of baffling to me that that still exists out there where certain companies aren't using secure, secure emails or portals. And what was the second part of that question besides the
Do
data?
you have a shred policy with the
Oh, yes. Oh, and then also I make sure once the signing's done and it's done, I double delete all the documents off of my PC. I don't want to have access to any of that stuff. And I always shred. My shredder's right here. I shred every single day. I went to a past notary's home and she had, I'm not kidding, 3 stacks of paper as high as my shoulders of client documents. And I was baffled. I said,
Oh my God.
you need to shred that stuff. You can't have that stuff sitting around. So anyways, I make best effort. I shred every single day. Matter of fact, I've even paid my daughter to shred. I said, I'll give you $10, shred this paperwork.
Oh,
Get it shredded.
what a way to get the family into the business. Very good.
Yeah, well, she'll do anything for money, really. She's a
Yeah.
teenager, right?
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
she actually worked all summer. I'm proud of her. But yeah, I don't like to risk anybody's personal information. We know how risky fraud is and stuff. So those are my steps that I take to prevent any kind of fraud.
Yeah. And you mentioned a couple of people that mentored you. Can you tell us who's mentored you and coached you, and how did you make that selection of the person that you wanted to help influence your business?
Oh boy, that's a tough question because I've been a part of the notary community for right when I really got started full time. And like I said, stumbled across Notary Business Builder first. I was very consistent doing all the training with Bill. They were a partnership with Bill and Laura Buer and Jen Neitzel and
And that's
many,
Bill
many
Soroka.
others. And so,
That's
yes,
Bill
yeah.
Soroka. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So that I was doing all that trainings consistently for I was one of the first onboarders for that program. So consistently for at least 2 years, 2.5 years. And then as I branched out and got into these niche services, I found other individuals. And I think what's important is finding someone that not only loves their craft and passionate about it, but really um, connecting and having a person that you really connect with. Like that's most important because it's just the same with having clients. Some clients you love, others you just don't mesh well with. So finding
Yeah.
someone that kind of has the same um, uh, how they run their business and how you run your business. I've been blessed to have so many other amazing notaries that are ambassadors as well, meeting at conference that have just really, really have helped me. Eileen Bonner is the queen at
Yeah.
apostilles, Judy Lawrence. I mean, both of them are very well versed. So having both of them to be able to call, ask questions has been really a game changer for my business. So if I had to give a recommendation for newer notaries, again, finding those courses and putting the time and energy in. Because look, you can't expect reaching out to a fellow notary to tell you everything. It doesn't work that way. You have to do the work. You have to do the work. You have to be consistent. Do the work, learn, and then if you have questions, you can reach out to whoever you're vibing with that you think would be a good partnership to help you grow your services.
Wow. Such great information. Any final thoughts you want to give to the notary community out there?
Just keep going, guys. Keep going. It's tough. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of effort. If you feel overwhelmed, because occasionally I'll feel overwhelmed, take a deep breath, walk away, go for a walk. If I'm slammed an entire day, I may not take appointments the next day. I may take just a few because I work so hard, I might just take a Friday off if I've had so many appointments. But just keep at it. Like I said, it's really being consistent, stepping out of your comfort zone, learning something new so that you can apply it to a new service that you're trying to establish, and just get out there. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. I've been fortunate to really not do a lot of cold calling or anything like that. Look, the base of my business has really been in-person connections, networking. Yes, of course, I have Google Business Profile, but San Diego is very competitive. And I'll tell you, that might be on fire for like a week where I'm getting multiple leads, and then it'll be crickets for 2 months. So I can't always count on online presence. You have to have your hands in everything. So that would be my piece of advice, is just keep getting out there, learning, find the niche products that that are going to work for you. I mean, I've stepped away from the real estate stuff as far as growing that business about a year and a half ago, and I shift to these different services. And really, I'm really focusing on the apostille, facilitation, translation, estate planning, general notary work, hospitals, assisted living has been my focus. And I also do virtual online facilitation, which is amazing. Since California, we can't do remote online. I have amazing notary partners all over the United States. I'm able to help people all over in other countries, especially with the apostille services. I just completed apostille work for a client that found me from the Philippines. Amazing. I did courier services for him to retrieve a divorce decree, got it sent off to my apostille courier, Eileen Bonner in Northern Cal. We got that thing turned. He had it in 5 days. Absolutely amazing. Life-changing. It's truly, what we get to do is life-changing. I get to help people be first-time homeowners, protect their assets and legacy. This gentleman was trying to adopt his new wife's kids in the Philippines. It's truly a blessing what we get to do. And most people, like notaries, are under the radar, but maybe not so much now after this presentation. But it's pretty cool when I meet with clients. They're blown away about all the different services notaries can do. So it's very rewarding. Most days are good. Some days I want to pull my hair out, but overall it's very rewarding. And I'm grateful to share my journey here with you, Daniel. And I'm super excited to continue to be part of our community as an ambassador of the National Notary Association, and inspire other notaries. Because when notaries hunt me down and they say, "Oh my gosh, I saw this," or "I saw your social media posting," it makes me feel really, really good, because I don't really look at myself like that, right? Like, I look at all the other people, other notaries that are writing books and doing different conferences and have 5 kids, and I think, oh my God, how do you have the time? So we all work at our own pace. We all have our unique businesses, and it's nice to be recognized. So I really appreciate you having me on the podcast today.
Oh, you are a superstar. I had Eileen on it a couple of months ago. So
I know, I saw hers. It was amazing. I love you, Eileen.
I'm sure she's going to look at this and love this podcast. Thank you so much for being here, giving your insight. I met you a couple of years ago, and I said, man, she's a superstar. Thank you so much for being here. Now, if you like this podcast, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to this podcast. And we can't wait to see you next week. See you next week.
Bye. Thank you.